Meanwhile, and already I think some of the players starting to look tired.
This is Amar again. She has Stepnik behind her if she needs her. Always wanting to go forward, but forced to retreat now. This is Stepnik. Amar's still unattended on the right.
And too much space for them to control it. Really, China will find themselves chasing all day.
14 is Margalot. Ball to the top of the circle. Knocked out to Lee. It comes back into Wong, but she wasn't able to trap it cleanly. Fortunately, there is some support there from Chu Yi Chen, and the ball is put over the sideline. Stepnik. Back she goes to Ronyini. This is Isega.
This is Argentina's game. They'll play it around confidently as much as they can. They've got clever and very good basics, clever skills and good basics.
It's almost like a training routine at the moment. There's no pressure on the person with the ball whatsoever.
And they'll play at their tempo. They're quite happy to play at this tempo and suddenly break or hit a long pass.
And there is the pass. It was intended for Hernandez, but ill-directed. And Wong was the player who was able to chop it off. She went back trying to find Garcia's foot. Garcia did well to get a stick there. So Argentina with a free hit. And they're deep in attack again. Argentina lead by 2-0, and we have less than 10 minutes to play in the first half. Stepnik.
Huge space in the middle of the field here.
Ronyini
to warm day, and this will continue.
And that will be a free hit to China. Now, can they set something up from here? The trap was missed by Ho, and now Vorkart has the opportunity, playing it onto an opponent's foot or leg. Vorkart again as they start to move towards the goal mouth. Ronyini. Garcia is lurking on the right-hand post. Vorkart will get the free hit. Ronyini actually drives the ball into the circle, but Argentina have been penalised, and China get relief with this free hit.
And really happy to have territorial position at the other end of the field. China have been in their defence for 1 or 2 minutes there. That's quite long enough. I'm sure Chen agrees.
China and Argentina, the two finalists in the 2002 Champions Trophy earlier this year, and China won their first major international title in that tournament. And at the moment, they find themselves 2 goals in arrears. It's Argentina 2, China 0, as China press forward again. Player just losing control of the ball at the crucial moment. That was Lee. And Stepnik assumed control of the ball for Argentina, but she gave it away. Another opportunity for China through Chen, and she's got support through Lee. That's not a good ball. There was no one down there.
There isn't quite the polish in it. The one thing that can upset a team like Argentina is the pace of China, but they really can't string their passes together at the moment, and they're unable to cause the Argentinians to have to react at pace.
Clearance coming out of defence from Isega. This is Amar. Free hit to Argentina in the midfield. Hernandez to Stepnik.
They're in no hurry.
Ronyoni to Stepnik again. Amar loose on the left. Again, she was given a lot of space. Danger here for China. Amar trying to force the penalty corner. They have the advantage. And now the corner.
And what Amar has is this capacity to move the ball quickly from left to right. You see, didn't see the initial movement, but you see there she'd beaten the Chinese defender. The ball was behind her, and that's an obstruction. And here's a scoring chance.
Well, Vorkart is up there, so is Rognoni. This is Ferrari looking for someone over on that far post, but there was no one there.
And the ball not stopped, so the umpire Cohen, sanctioned that, even though the pass was harmless anyway, wouldn't have counted.
This is Wong for China. Just over 5 minutes to play in the first half in this game, as the overhead pass goes deep into the Chinese forward line, but there was little chance of anyone running it down.
Fu there playing with the headgear, the red bandana. She's really at the centre of this Chinese team. They have to get the ball to her more often if they're going to hurt Argentina today.
Tung going back and winning the ball for China. 5 is another Chung, Wei Chung. Rognoni wanting to move it on quickly. Showing the scars from a previous battle over her right eye. And she goes right back to Isega. Vorkart, and that's worked out okay. I don't think that was intended, but Doreski had it and gets it back to Aymar, who runs so hard, and there's the reverse stick shot, but a comfortable save made by Yali Ni, the Chinese goalkeeper. It's a long corner.
Ma, the defender, did quite well there. She forced Aymar wide, and really in the end the shot was a difficult one from near the back line.
Stepnik, Rognoni pushing up to lend support. And again, they bide their time. Almost an error. In fact, it was an error made. Rognoni gave her opponent a look at the ball, and it was well stolen by Chen. And now Fu, and she in turn is dispossessed. Margalotta was the player who made the interception, or who made the effective tackle. This is Garcia. She'll get the free hit. Margalotta on the right. Gonzalez Oliver, Stepnik. Aymar just lurking on the left. They don't need her at the moment. And now they've got a little bit of room in which to move. Margalotta forcing the ball deep towards Masota. Free hit to Argentina. Now there's the shot going in from Stepnik. She didn't time it. And again, Ni clearing without too much difficulty. Chen getting the ball out of immediate danger for China, but they're badly outnumbered over on the left. And Vorkart sends Doreski away.
There's the shot from Stepnik, not too bad, not quite the power that she would have wanted, and handled by Yali Ni. I've seen Argentina often play well against these East Asian teams, Korea and China. They'll shift the ball around, they'll play at their own tempo, they'll keep possession, and they do frustrate China, and they've done so well today.
Less than 2 minutes to play in the first half, and after the early fireworks, this game has settled down to a significant degree as Aymar, who caused a lot of those early fireworks, gets it towards the top of the circle. Argentina would love to pick up a late goal.
Well, at one stage during this half, the possession was about 50% all, but it's now well in favour of Argentina, and that reflects the way that they're just managing the ball, controlling it, always having someone free and available.
Isega goes to Rognoni. Aymar was loose, but just as Rognoni was about to pass, she was covered. And Argentina eventually lose possession of the ball. It's taken by Lee and moved quickly into the midfield, but a missed trap by Tung has given Argentina possession again. This is Aymar. We've got less than a minute to play in the first half here at the Perth Hockey Stadium. Argentina playing China. And Argentina lead as a result of those 2 early goals. This will be a free hit to Argentina. They need to take it quickly. Just over 30 seconds remaining in this first half. Aymar again goes back to Isega.
You'd reckon they'd be wanting to get it to the circle to make one more chance. They've got possession of the ball, but they're not even worried about that. They're quite happy for the time to pass and for half-time to come.
Vorkart out on the left. And she is able to negotiate Chen. But China will get out of trouble again. Zhou. And there's the buzzer for half-time in this Pool A game between Argentina and China. And at half-time, Argentina lead by 2-0, both goals being scored in the first 10 minutes of the game, and both being scored by Agustina Garcia. It was a brilliant start by Argentina, and
Well, an interesting start to that match, thanks to Wally Foreman and Rick Charlesworth. We'll be back to them in about 10 minutes for the second half. But Jen Morris, 2 goals in 10 minutes. Garcia made a great start for Argentina.
Yeah, Garcia, number 2 for Argentina up front. Looks like she's covering very, very well for Aneto, who, of course, broke her hand in the first game. So if Garcia can keep performing well, Aymar's feeding great balls through to her. Argentina looking very, very dangerous in the first half.
You're talking enthusiastically also about Aymar, what a gifted player she is and how in the last couple of years she's improved so much.
She's someone that's incredibly fast, very, very fit, and has unbelievable skills. And on top of that, she's able to throw really, really good passes. And we've already seen in this half a couple of great, dangerous passes through to Garcia, which have led to goals for Argentina.
Well, this past week has been a great opportunity for Jen Morris and Rick Charlesworth to renew their friendship and relive some old stories. As we've learnt through their commentary, neither is ever short of a word, and we thought this is an ideal chance to pool their combined hockey knowledge to give you a deeper understanding of the game. Here are their tips on how to trap the ball.
And Jen, no one better to demonstrate it than yourself. You're one of the players who was able to trap those hard balls into the circle. Whether they were bouncing or they were coming along flat, you were very courageous in that situation.
That was a couple of years ago, and I said I'm never ever going to pick a stick up again. After the 2000 Olympics, I'm not going to do it. I've listened to you for 10 years now, and I'm not going to do it now. I've had enough of listening to your voice in my ear all the time. If I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it.
But think of all those people out there who really could do with a little bit of coaching, a little bit of advice, and they want to understand better about the game. Think about what you can do, and you're the best person to demonstrate. I'm really past it.
You know it all though, Rick. You've always known it all. You've got everything, all the knowledge. That's what I listened to for 10 years. Why don't you tell them?
But to do this properly, you've got to be able to get down low, you've got to be able to be mobile and bend. I haven't got that anymore.
Come on, you never lose it. You never, even when you were playing with us all those years, you still said you had it. You were better than us. You'd grit your teeth. You'd tell everyone what to do. Why don't you tell them what to do?
Well, I was then, but, you know, your hair's all the same colour and you've got lots of it, Jen. I don't have that anymore, you know, right. I'm not capable.
Well, you're right with that and you're right with everything else. So why don't you tell them about how you trap the ball? You can grit your teeth. You can invade my personal space like you always did. I'm over it now. It's not going to work.
Just pick up the stick, Jen, and give us a demonstration. Jen, pick up the stick.
No.
Pick up the stick.
Not going to do it.
Well, I knew that bully was a hockey term, but recalcitrant. Anyway, we're joined by someone far more sensible now in Nikki Hudson. Nikki, that was a great atmosphere last night for the Australia-England match. I'm sure you enjoyed it.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. To have the Barmy Army there, I mean, we were worried at first, but once they got there, they were fantastic. And, you know, it was so loud, we couldn't hear each other on the field, but certainly a great atmosphere.
You were working, of course, down that left flank in the second half, and you were just telling me before that really they were quite polite. They were good fun.
Yeah, well, I had to take a long corner at one stage, and I thought, now just block it out. Don't listen, don't listen. And I don't think they said anything nasty, which was really nice. But, yeah, great crew.
And let's talk a little bit about the game, because it was a memorable one, played in a great atmosphere. You got the result, but, gee, it could have gone either way. That stroke early could have changed the complexion of the game.
Yeah, fantastic save. And, you know, I mean, the English team played fantastic. They're always, you know, a tough team to play. We just managed to play much better as a team last night. And, you know, we're getting better and better each game. And now we've got a couple more hard matches, which I certainly hope we're going to gel together and play very well as a team.
Jen, just thinking back to that little lesson we didn't quite get, what did you think of the Australian trapping last night and general basic skills?
The first few games, Australia probably, even by their own admission, didn't play as well as what they could have played. But last night, they certainly stepped up. They needed to against England. And now with playing against the Netherlands tomorrow night, they need to probably step up even a little bit more. But good performance, good win. And 3-1, always a great victory against England.
We noted the 200th game of Trini Powell, and we wondered in commentary, Nikki, whether that is something that the coach can use as a further motivation for a match like that.
Yeah, we had a really big meeting this morning about it, and, you know, congratulated Trini on that. And, you know, she played fantastic, and it certainly motivates us, you know, when something like that happens. And, you know, we're all just feeling great at the moment. We're feeling confident, especially after last night's match, and we're just looking forward to going into a tough match tomorrow and hopefully keeping the winning streak going.
We're watching with great interest the progress of Susie Harris. She's been given a couple of runs now and seems to be doing good things.
Yeah, she's a fantastic young player, and I mean, she's only 17, still a kid, but she's certainly got a bright future ahead of us, and she's fitted so well into our team, playing well, and certainly someone it's great to have her up there with us. She's fast, she's quick, skillful, and as I said, she's got a huge future ahead of her.
We were looking at the end of that Australia-England game that a goal was disallowed. Did you have a view of it?
I was on the sideline. I just turned around to grab a drink, so I didn't see it. But, yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there. I didn't really catch the replay, so I can't comment on that one.
You're being diplomatic. Well, also being diplomatic, or was it charming? After the match, the Australians did a lap of honour, and there were some interesting scenes around the field when firstly the Australians applauded your efforts, and you made your way over towards the Barmy Army as well, and they're very fair-minded, aren't they? And, well, that's happy scenes for Australia, and particularly for Trini Powell. 2 goals in the 200th. Rick Charlesworth reminded me afterwards that he scored 2 goals in his 200th, and you've made a new friend there.
Oh, yeah, well,
Nikki,
I got caught out.
You're never embarrassed, but you look a tad embarrassed there.
Oh, I am, yeah. I definitely got caught out. I forgot about the cameras, actually.
What about going into that match also, thinking back on the Commonwealth Games where the England team got you, was that also motivation? Was that talked about?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we always know that playing the English team will be a very, very tough match. And I think we went into the match with the history being 19 wins apiece. So that was, you know, a really exciting thing. And, you know, it was tough. The scoreline, I really think, was no indication of how close it was. And as you said, the stroke earlier on, which Rachel saved, could have been a turning point in the match for them. But luckily for us, it wasn't.
Let's get the thoughts from both of you now about the Dutch tomorrow. Jen, what do you believe the Australians have to do? The Dutch look in tremendous form, with their pieces or without.
Yeah, that's right. It's really pleasing. The midfield had been a little bit lacking, I think, from Australia, but Melanie Twitt last night against England played very, very well. So that's going, looking good for Australia as they play against the Netherlands. There's no doubt our biggest threats for the Netherlands is Towers, Hudson and Powell up front. So if we can get the ball early to those players, Netherlands are very, very difficult to score against. I think we've got a real chance against them. We need to move the ball quickly. Australia and Netherlands hate to play at a fast pace.
Nikki, has the team already begun to discuss tomorrow's game? How far ahead does the planning happen for a big match like this?
Yeah, we've got a couple of meetings already. Well, we've had one this morning, another one tonight. And, I mean, we know the Dutch team inside out, but it's a matter of how you go out there and approach a game and play on the day. And, you know, they're good in both attack and defence. So it's going to be tough for us. And as Jen said, we've just got to move the ball early and just not let them slow us down too much, because we like to attack with speed, whereas they, I think, like to slow a match down. So.
It was 2 meetings at the Champions Trophy this year, 0-0 in the rounds, and then they got you 4-3 in the playoff for bronze.
Yeah, that was really unlucky. It went into extra time, and, you know, they scored in extra time, golden goal, but it was a fantastic match, and yeah, very exciting. I think we were really unlucky to lose that, and you know, very disappointing, but hopefully we're going to get some revenge tomorrow.
A little earlier we were discussing the controversy about the Dutch team using these earpieces, and perhaps Lammers, the coach, talking to the team. Has that been a discussion point for your team?
We only found out about it this morning, actually, and I mean, it's no real big issue. We've just told Dibsy not to get any ideas, because I wouldn't listen. I'd take it out and block it out. But
you don't listen anyway, Molly.
I don't. Yeah, I don't listen at all. But I mean, I think, you know, if that's what they need to help them, then let them do that. You know, we'll concentrate on playing, and yeah, I don't see a big issue with it.
Is 48 hours enough time for you to recover, just briefly? Everyone fit?
Yeah, we do a lot of pool sessions, and we work really hard on our recovery. recovery because, you know, each match is such a tough match. So, you know, we're feeling good already. We've had a lot of rest, and I think we'll be raring to go tomorrow.
Well, let's go back to the second half with Wally and Rick.
Perth Hockey Stadium, as the sun breaks through again, there has been a light cloud cover, which is probably cooling the stadium a little bit, but it has been a very warm day. And now China making their way back out onto the field. Yibu Ma, number 4, is the cornerstone of their defence. She's also an important player in their penalty corner battery, but as yet they haven't been able to break through. Almost set to start the second half of this Pool A game between Argentina and China. Argentina with a 2-0 lead, both goals scored in the first 10 minutes of the game. Argentina have been back out on the ground for a couple of minutes now, and China just making their way back out onto the Perth Hockey Stadium.
There we saw Karina Mazzotta playing her 200th game today, an important milestone for her.
Now, Rick, would you expect Argentina to try and protect this 2-0 lead, or will you expect them to add to it?
They'll try to counter-attack, but they won't be over-aggressive in taking risks. They have a very solid defence, and they like to possess the ball. They'll keep the ball as long as they can. Their approach would be, as long as we've got it, you can't score. China will have to do something different. They have to play fast still. They have to have tempo in their game. But really, you'd hope that their skills and their basics would be a bit tidier this half, and perhaps in the middle of the field they pay more attention to Aymar, who really has been a dominant player for the whole of that half, except for a short period of time when she was on the bench.
And Argentina start with possession in the second half. It was Garcia who was over the ball, and they also start with a 2-0 lead as Vorkart has possession at left half, working the ball back up towards the half line now, and it's knocked across the sideline, so it will be a free hit to China. If you were a member of the Chinese coaching staff, would you change this tactic of the long through pass? It didn't work well for them in the first half.
Well, I think it's part of their way of playing. I just think they have to get the balance right. Sometimes their players have to run it. Sometimes there has to be better short passing. And that's one of the things that I'd say about this Chinese team. They're a bit one-dimensional in that respect.
This is Garcia. That was a beautiful ball from Vorkart, and she's deep in attack, but the attempted cross wasn't timed, and as a result, China should be able to take the ball away. They, in fact, haven't been able to do that. They do better now as Ma pushes the ball out towards the right, and they should get out of trouble. Clearance from Chen will be intercepted by Rognoni.
And again, they had the ball on the right there, and they looked for the long hit down that side. The Argentinians easily anticipated that. Perhaps the ball needed to be transferred, and they don't transfer the ball enough in the middle of the field
Margalot, sorry, Rick.
to vary their attack.
Margalot to Stepnik, but she's been dispossessed by Lee. Lee putting the ball back towards the circle. A chance in there for Fu. But now Argentina will get out of trouble with the clearance coming from Gonzalez Oliver. That wasn't a good pass, easily intercepted by Zhou for China. Now they can launch an attack of their own. Chen has the ball. In turn, her pass was ineffective. So an untidy start to the second half by both teams.
I suspect it's quite hot out there, Wal, and these sorts of easy turnovers, this soft play, often the sort of thing you see when the players are getting tired. They've just started the second half. They really ought to be sharper than this.
Isega pushes the ball out to the right. Stepnik. It wasn't Stepnik, it was Rognoni who got it to Vorkart. And Isega working hard in there for Argentina, and she's earned the free hit. Again, the ball is turned over fairly easily. This is Lee, challenged by Isega, and she did well, working in very confined quarters there. Well taken by Aymar. She and Garcia were the stars of the first half. This time she's been dispossessed, but it came off Zhou's foot.
Clever play by Aymar. She changed direction and then wanted to come back through Zhou. That was sufficient to win the free. Had it not hit Zhou's foot, she would have been through.
Vorkart. Oh, that's clever. That's clever. The player tongue was drawn to Rognoni, and now Argentina have a little bit of space up forward. The attempted pass by Gonzalez Oliver was knocked away, but they've got the free hit. And look at Amar, 5 or 6 metres in the clear, and she'll get a shot on goal here, but she's missed to the left. Gee, it's almost as though they underrate her.
Well, I think there she pulls it left, and not quite a good angle. Didn't hit it really as well as she would have liked. She's not a great goal shooter, but she's a great goal maker. But I think what's happening, Wal, is that China are too busy defending sometimes to be able to pay attention to her, and she just hangs around in the middle of the field and the back half sometimes and breaks from there. That's sometimes quite difficult to play against, but really, you're right, China need to pay more attention to her.
Chen into the midfield, and this is another Chen. It was.
And again, if you watch these Chinese players, they often get the ball and they run forward, but they only have very tunnel vision. They're not looking for the lateral passes.
Free hit to China, taken just outside the circle, and it was taken very quickly by Chung, too quickly. The forwards didn't have time to get back and get organised.
The idea was right, but it's only a good idea if there's somebody ready and waiting for it.
Chung Buk Kim, the Chinese coach,
who is, of course, a Korean, and he speaks a little bit of Chinese, but during the press conferences, we have to translate back to Korean to get messages from him.
Vorkart, but it was well read by Zhao Sha Chen, China's captain, and then she lost possession. Chinese ball from the side. They've been forced very wide and very deep.
Coach Kim had a burst of coaching the Korean team. He lost that job. He was a very successful coach of the Korea Telecom team. But now he has the job in China, and I suspect all the way to Beijing if they continue to be as successful as they've been.
They're the Champions Trophy champions at the moment, the gold medalists in this tournament, in that tournament, played earlier this year. But at the moment, they trail Argentina, whom they beat in the final of that tournament, by 2-0. And we have just under 30 minutes to play in this game, a Pool A game, between two of the favoured teams in the tournament.
If I remember rightly, in that game, China actually were leading, and it was Argentina who came back late in the game. So this is a reversal of that form.
Chen to Lee. And this is a more penetrating run. She's still got a wall of defenders to negotiate. Chen again drives into the circle. Oh, and that ball came up. And it has struck a player, and I think it might be Vorkart, in the face.
Is it Margalot?
It could be Margalot. But she's bleeding quite profusely from where that ball struck her. Yes, it is. It's Mercedes Margalot who has been struck. And there's going to be a bit of a delay here. She's back on her feet and quite bravely walking from the field and not unduly concerned by her situation.
Rognoni put a stick out, just a deflection, and it's just hit her on the chin there or the mouth. She's very tough, this one. She's a very tough girl and a very, very strong player. She's scored twice for them off corners. She takes the penalty strokes.
I think it's her nose, and she's just tidying herself up. It may have actually come up and hit her under the nose, which would probably be better than being hit on the bridge of the nose. But it was a nasty blow, and just some repair work being done now to the turf here at the Perth Hockey Stadium.
Washing away the blood.
I'm just not looking for a moment, Rick. It's Argentina 2, China 0.
You always were brave, Wal. You know, even in tennis, you were a coward.
I have a very low pain threshold, you know that. Practicing coward. Argentina 2, China 0. We have 28 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in this game. And it's a free hit to China, which will be taken just outside the circle. And it's a very congested circle at the moment. Zhou will take the hit. No, she won't. She stands aside and allows Chen to take it. Oh, and that was a good opportunity. There's a player lurking just in front of the goalkeeper, but just couldn't get a stick on it. And so the opportunity is wasted.
There's a dummy run. One player runs off. That distracts the player's attention, and the ball was fired across there. Not quite in a perfect position, but nearly a tip-in opportunity for China.
Yes, Chung was the player. She was in the right spot, just couldn't quite get a stick on it.
And the Chinese defence doing a little bit better, just trying to get in front. They have to score, though. They have to change the dynamics of this game. Unless they can score and put a little bit of pressure on Argentina, Argentina will be happy to just control the ball. And this player can do it all day.
This is Amar. The difference at the moment is that Amar is content to play back and play defensively as opposed to running forward as she did in the early part of that first half. And there was nearly a good opportunity there for Gonzalez Oliver, but good defence by China, and it's picked up by Lee. And she is confronted by Vorkart. She moves it on quickly out to Ho.
Well, nearly a lovely take by Tung there.
And she's regained control of the ball. Vorkart close to the back line. Tung again gets the ball back to Ho. Just couldn't get a clean strike at it. And now Rognoni gets the ball across to the sideline. They're under some pressure here, Argentina. China fighting hard, just trying to make something happen at the top of the circle.
You made the comment about Amar. One of the reasons I think she is being forced back is because China are paying a little bit more attention to her.
Rognoni with the clearance into the midfield. There's more space this time. Russo running with her as Amar. A lot of space. And back on the left is a Rondo, but it won't get to her. Chen.
Just get a feeling that China is starting to do a little more.
Chung with that long through ball, but there was no one there. Sergio Vigil, the Argentinian coach.
And his anxiety often reflects Argentina's anxiety, I suspect. So, and the fact that he's more vocal might indicate that he thinks that Argentina are just losing their grip a little.
Well, the tempo really has changed in this game from what we saw in the first 10 or 15 minutes when Argentina came out with all guns blazing, and Garcia had 2 goals on the board in the first 10 minutes. But they are the only goals that have been scored in the game so far. We've got just under 26 minutes to play. Amar goes back again to Vorkart. Isega. Not a lot happening for her at the moment.
And the Chinese pressing a little bit more there, and they're getting some turnovers as a result of that. Unfortunately, that long pass lets them down too often.
Amar with the interception. Russo loses control of the ball. It's taken by Zhou for China. China have the free hit.
China will be fitter than Argentina. If they can keep running and keep the tempo up, then Argentina will be tired.
Jiasha Chen. He's been tackled by Arondo. And that will be a free hit at the top of the circle to Argentina. It's their goalkeeper, Mariela Antoniska.
She's hardly been called upon today.
Lee making the interception but not controlling the ball. Argentina retain possession from the side. Rognoni.
But as you indicated, while they're retaining possession in their own half, not getting the penetration we saw in the first half, and China just a whisper of a chance, I think.
Chen. Good save in there by Isega, and Amar is away. Now this time she has got a little bit of space in front of her, and she has the opportunity to run. Garcia's made her position on the left. The ball coming to the front of the goal. Another opportunity here for Doreski, and the save is made by Yali Ni.
Well, a lovely run again by Amar, and she was waiting for a moment. She had some space then, because China pushed forward. There's the pass across, very well done. And Yali Ni does very well here because it deflected off a stick. Good reflex save by a brilliant goalkeeper.
Long corner to Argentina. Aymar has it, flicks it back cleverly to Garcia. Her attempted push into the circle wasn't effective. And China bring the ball out through Lee now. And she in turn makes a strong run through the midfield. The ball just got too far in front of her, and Rognoni was able to effect the tackle.
And she's ever cool in the middle of the field, Rognoni. Mind you, I think you've seen the best of Rognoni. Well, she's a feisty customer. 2 years ago, she was suspended for a year from the international game for allegedly throwing the ball at the umpire after a decision she didn't like in the Pan American Games. So
I guess it was more than an allegation if she was suspended, Rick. She's number 16 in defence for Argentina.
And apparently she's got quite a good arm, and she was right on target.
It's not funny, really, is it? But she, as you mentioned, suspended for a year, so it's not a recommended tactic. China move the ball forward again. Chen, close to the sideline, playing it onto Isaga's leg.
Fortunately for her, the suspension finished in August of 2000, so she was able to play in the Olympic Games. And I think she's been on her best behaviour since, and indeed she's still a feisty customer, but a very, very good player.
Argentina winning the silver medal in those Olympic Games behind Australia.
And China certainly have done better in the second half. Those first 10 minutes have really cost them.
Stepnik to Aymar. She has a player on the left if she wants her. It's Doreski. Chooses to hold possession herself, and that's given China time to get back in defence. This is Rognoni. Oh, it wasn't. Yes, it was. Sorry, Rognoni. Now Vorkat. Doreski with 2 to beat.
One of the dangers for Argentina is sometimes you get in this mode while they're comfortably possessing the ball, watching the clock tick away. They've had 58% of possession now. They're really dominating possession. But one of the dangers is that you can lose a bit of focus in attack. And here we see Garcia.
Yes, there's a problem here with Agustina Garcia. I don't know what happened, but she is their goal scorer. In fact, she's the only goal scorer in the game, scoring twice in the first 10 minutes. And it looks as though it might be put. We'll keep an eye on that and see if we can work out exactly what's happened to Agustina Garcia.
There was no obvious incident, so let's hope she's okay.
Chung taking the ball forward for China. The pass ill-directed, and it will be Argentina's ball from the side. This is Rognoni, the player that Rick was talking about. That's a good cross. Now they've been able to make a little bit of space here. Ferrari's pass was poor. It was meant for Hernandez. Got to her eventually. But they just lost that forward momentum in this passage of play as Ferrari sweeps the ball in the direction of Russo. She was dispossessed, and it's taken away by Chen for China. Across they come to Chung. And in turn to Ho. But now an opportunity for Russo for Argentina.
Interestingly, China have had Fu off the field. And it looks like an ankle, perhaps. Certainly she's had her ankle strapped, and it seems like they're dealing with that. But Fu for China has been off for quite a while. She's their most dynamic forward. I wonder whether or not Coach Kim is thinking, for the last 20 minutes, we really want her to be alive when everyone else is tired.
Aymar. Loose pass. Doreski tried to tidy it up, but the interception was made by Huang. Ho losing the ball on the sideline, and Vorkat will bring it in. Aymar.
She's very clever. She always gets out of trouble in those situations. Lovely composure.
Ferrari endeavouring to combine in a 1-2 situation with Hernandez.
And the lesser players from Argentina, while they're good players, certainly don't have quite the quality that says this team are unbackable favourites for this championship. You suspect that under pressure, they may not be able to handle the lack of time and space.
Stepnik. Aymar thought about going back, but realised that there were players back there, and here is a good steal by Chen. Opportunity for China, the best opportunity of the game so far, but Antoniska comes out strongly and prevents Tang from going to the goal line. And now Hernandez with a fast break for Argentina. She went looking for Russo, but the pass was ill-directed.
And really, this should have been a goal. Antoniska did well, but when she lay down early, the player ought to have been able to lift it over her. Tongue would be disappointed with that. And of course, that chance came as a result of a loose piece of play by Aymar, who's been outstanding, but just that little bit of relaxation.
Well, I think this game needs a goal from China to just raise the standard again. It promised to be an exciting spectacle in the first 10 minutes when Argentina scored twice. And certainly hasn't risen to the heights since then that we saw in the game between Australia and England last night.
And you see the circle penetrations now fairly even, 11-8. Argentina certainly haven't had the same sort of quality in the second half, and I suspect it's because they're just comfortable with the 2-0 lead. That's always dangerous.
Argentina leading China 2-0 in this Pool A game. They're first and third respectively on the points table coming into this game. Argentina are on top with 9 points. Korea have 8 points, they're second. China have 7 points, they're third. Korea has actually played their fourth game. Now an opportunity here for Stepnik. She's gone very wide, and that will give China time to fill the circle up. The ball going in towards the goalkeeper, and Dureski was waiting there, but it was never going to reach her. There was no power in the cross. That wasn't a good clearance. It's been intercepted by Stepnik. An opportunity this time, perhaps. Stepnik gets it back at the top of the circle. She just can't quite force it onto her foot. And in fact, it was well played by the Chinese defence, and in particular by Chen, who in turn sends her namesake Chen away. And China now have the ball just outside their quarter line.
And we still haven't seen Fu. I wonder whether or not she has an injury. China need her.
Ball bouncing up towards Stepnik. She controlled it well and gets the free hit anyway. 11 is Masota.
Of course, if China lose today, then Korea will be ahead of them on the table. Korea still has to play Argentina, but that's not a situation that China would be looking forward to with any relish. And certainly it makes the final matches very crucial for them.
China and Korea drew 0-0 early in the tournament.
In a game in which hardly any shots at goal, it was really cat and mouse. I suppose considering the political situation, the geography, it's not surprising with those two countries. No love lost there.
And no one prepared to concede a centimetre. Now Vorkart makes a good tackle here and gets control of the ball for Argentina. Dureski, Vorkart running past. The ball played onto Ma's legs, so it'll be a free hit to Argentina. They're inside their quarter. Aymar, Vorkart to Rondo. And almost an opportunity for Dureski, and almost another opportunity for Masota. It was an opportunity, but she was having to stretch back behind herself a little bit.
Rondo here gets it across well, and Rondo, the defender who's been made into a forward by Sergio Vigil, did well then. Perhaps she showed a little bit of the class that you'd want to see in that attacking circle. Up until now, you just get the impression she's not comfortable there, but she has done a couple of good things, and she certainly has some pace and some aggression about her. Mazzotta, of course, not as flexible as she was in her younger days. She couldn't quite turn quickly and get that shot on net.
So China, an endeavour to mount an attack down the right. To that drive from Chu Yi Chen, sailing harmlessly over the back line.
And again, Rognoni nearly turned it over in the defence. Just that relaxation sometimes.
Now here's Aymar with space again, but the pass wasn't good. It was intended for a Rondo, but she had no hope of getting to it before her opponent. And so China perhaps playing with a little bit more enterprise now as Lee takes the ball towards the circle. Back in there is Tung, trying to get it in front of goal, and she's done that. Lee gets it onto the goalkeeper's pads, and it's going to be a penalty corner to China.
And the ball ended up in the net, I suspect, and China would be unhappy about that. There's Tung across. It's a scramble, shot at goal, saved by Antoniska. Messy, untidy, oops, and China would be disappointed. That could have made this last 13 minutes very interesting. Perhaps they can score this corner, though.
Well, let's see what option or what variation they use this time. And the shot on goal was actually taken by Chen, their captain. It'll be a free hit to Argentina, and it was taken quickly. Stepnik stepping all over the ball. Not penalised because it was incidental. Gonzalez Oliver, opportunity back in there for Doretsky. And this should be, oh, bad luck for her. I was going to say it should be a goal. She did extremely well to get to where she was. Doretsky again with another chance, but this time she's penalised. The ball just kicked away from her at the crucial moment.
Here's the penalty corner. Lots of room for Chen. Looking for a little tip, and really probably should have been another corner. They would have been unhappy with that. The ball immediately went to the other end and a chance for Argentina.
And Argentina have it in attack again. Hernandez looking for Arondo. Argentina from the side.
There's Doretsky. She lifts it right across the face of goals. Aimed again, saved by the goalkeeper, and a spillage here and a huge scramble. Well done by Ni. She likes to get on the ground. That's one of the weaknesses perhaps she has. She's a very good goalkeeper and very courageous, but sometimes she throws herself on the ground a little bit too much.
Well, Doretsky was most unlucky then. She'd done all the hard work, but in lifting it over the keeper, just threw it a little too far in front of herself, and she couldn't get to it to pull it back.
And as the ground dries out a bit, I suspect again we're just seeing a few balls bobble, and players have difficulty controlling it.
Argentina lead China 2-0. 11.5 minutes remaining in this game.
Well, they can book a place for the semi-finals, Argentina, if they hold on to this lead.
And China will remain in third place if they can't get out of this game with a draw or a win. So Lee pushes up for them now. Cross to the top of the circle was intended for Fu, and she wasn't able to control it. Stepnik brings it out. Hernandez out on the right.
Fu is back on now. She's had an extended break. She still didn't look sharp. And there's Margalo. Yes, it was the nose wall, and she'd be back on if she was needed, I'm sure.
Argentina sweeping the ball across the defensive area. Isega.
Lee, number 22 for China, has made a difference this half. She's actually given them a bit of drive here on the right. But it's Fu who they need in the middle to finish off.
Some space for Hernandez. The pass has found Masota. Opportunity here for Argentina. She's got some room, but coming out again is Ni, who gets the kick away. Still with Argentina. They work it back to the top of the circle. Free hit to Argentina just outside the circle. Coming up to take it is Isega. No Garcia out there at the moment.
And a lot of active leading occurring there. The Argentinian players looking for the tip here.
And she was able to get the ball through that pack of legs.
And she's having her ankle retaped. Here's the ball hit through the circle, and a bit of body work there with Arondo, a feisty character too, but no chance for either.
That was Agustina Garcia, who's having her ankle retaped. She's the goal scorer for Argentina. She scored both goals, and they lead by 2-0.
You would think if there's any doubt about her ankle, well, that they wouldn't need to use her again. 9 minutes to go, and certainly she's crucial for them in the rest of the tournament.
China still working hard, but not making any impression at the moment as Aymar runs the ball towards the circle again. She's got the free hit. This is between the quarter line and the top of the circle. Vorkart coming in.
And really at the other end of the field, the Argentinian defenders just standing about. Here's one of them, Mugnoni, quite content to switch the ball, control the play, and let the clock run away.
Dureski with the cross. It flicked off an opponent's foot, and so it will be a long corner. Hernandez will bring it in. Aymar to Hernandez. In fact, Stepnik it was. Comes back to Aymar. She's got Vorkart loose out on the left, but they've retreated. And they're now back behind the half line. Isega and Rognoni. Vorkart. Stepnik again. Russo was the target. It was well read by Joe. In turn by Hernandez.
That would have been 10 passes in a row for Argentina, just controlling the ball at the back. That's what they're quite happy to do, and they'll come back again here, I suspect.
Not particularly exciting, though.
It's not exciting, but they want a result. They want to assure themselves a place in the semis. And this is the team that beat them in the final of the Champions Trophy only a month or two ago, so they'd be pleased with the outcome. And here we've had 8 passes already in this little sequence, Walt.
And
9.
they're still in the back half.
Yep. 10.
This is Isega. Vorkart. And the interception made by Jiaxia Chen. Taken quickly.
There's no question that Argentina are quite happy to hold on to what they have now.
Wei Chung. Back to Wang Fengzhou. And we note that Agustina Garcia has come back onto the ground. She's the goal scorer as China press forward. And they have a free hit now, a little closer to the circle. They trail by 2-0. We've got just over 6 minutes to play in this game, so they really need to get a wriggle on China if they're going to pull a point out of this game. Ball driven hard into the circle. It's a penalty corner to China. The ball popping up off an Argentinian stick.
In those situations, you're really looking for a stick or an error. And this time we find an error. The ball hits the Argentinian stick, flies in the air. That's dangerous, no doubt about it. All the Argentinians back in the circle. This really is perhaps China's last chance to open up this game with only 5 minutes to go.
Tung brings the ball in. Ma is there, but the shot is actually taken by Chen. And Ferrari chases it back into the corner for Argentina. So China thwarted again as they try and pull one of these 2 goals back. Both goals scored in the first 10 minutes of the game. They have the numbers in the midfield here, China. Chen. Aymar for Argentina. Gonzalez Oliver. Twelve is Joe. 5 is Chung. 19 Chen. Back to Chung. But Rognoni is the player who breaks it up for Argentina, and that was almost a good ball looking for Garcia. It was well read by Jiaxia Chen. Now China try and drive forward again, but Rognoni comes across and cuts the move off. Stepnik.
That is really good skill by Stepnik.
The pass wasn't equal to the skills as Wong takes it forward, but in turn she's dispossessed by Isega. And now Hernandez drives along the right looking for Russo. Free hit to China. We're inside the last 5 minutes of this game. Argentina 2, China 0. And you would think, given the manner in which Argentina is playing out this game, that it's going to be very difficult for China to score the 2 goals they need to salvage a point from the game. Aymar. And she has Vorkart back near the half line. And that ball was just touched across the side by Arondo. So China regained possession from the side. Long pass, but the trap was missed by Tang. Tidied up at the back by Isega.
The fact that Garcia's come back on the field suggests that probably it was just some problem with the bandaging. I doubt that she has a serious injury of any sort, and that's good news for Argentina.
Vorkart along the left-hand sideline. Garcia sweeping it infield to Aymar, who knocked it away in the air. Play allowed to go on. It's a free hit to Argentina. They're inside the quarter line. This is Aymar. It's a penalty corner. A penalty corner has been awarded for a deliberate breach outside the circle.
Inside the quarter line, it was a free hit to Argentina, but the Chinese player came too close. You have to be 5 yards away, and that's the correct decision. Sort of thing that happens because you get too excited or you're just not concentrating. And a good chance here for Argentina. Margalo would be unhappy, of course, because she likes to be involved in the corners.
Now Rognoni is up there. Looks as though she's going to take the hit. Garcia will run into the post. She didn't run with any great energy. And they're going to have to take it again anyway. Aymar was the player who moved quickest towards the goal mouth. She's number 8. Garcia is number 2. They're both on the left of Rognoni.
And Argentina have 4 back, quite conservative the way they're taking this corner.
And Rognoni with a shot. It's well saved. Another chance here for Aymar, perhaps. Penalty corner.
And I suspect, given the situation, they'll be happy for Rognoni just to hit, although Sergio's got something else in mind by the looks of it. And a good hit and well saved.
They're also chewing up the clock here. We now have less than 2 minutes to play. And the stop missed this time by Gonzalez Oliver. Rognoni comes back, and Garcia was left on her own. Can't get the flick in, but does get it across the face of goal. It was well played, desperate play, but taken away eventually for China by Lee.
What happens, of course, when the ball goes through on the corner wall is that the players running out follow the ball and they get distracted, and suddenly you can find someone free behind them, as Garcia was on that occasion.
Good skills shown here by Tang. And then she loses possession to Stepnik. Lee, back to Tang. She has a player loose on the right. Didn't see her. Chance now for Fu. As she gets the ball inside the circle. Good run, but no support. Dispossessed by Rognoni. And now Isega will relieve the pressure. It's Ferrari, in fact, as Argentina work the ball through the midfield again. Aymar decides to take them on. She's quick and she's skillful. Just lost control of it, but will get the free hit.
She really accelerated, didn't she? Just went slowly and then suddenly changed pace. The best players can do that.
We're inside the last minute, and Argentina have possession. And now Isega drops right back behind the defensive quarter line. Vorkart on the left. Deep, good ball too. This is a good way to use up the clock for Argentina. Garcia was the player who accepted the pass. It was tapped away from her by Joe. 20 seconds remaining in the game as Garcia looks up and checks the clock. Aymar comes down. And we could see the ball held in this corner for the remainder of the game. Although it did look as though Garcia was trying to break it out. Garcia with the cross. Ball deflects into the side of the net. And there's the buzzer. It's full time in this Pool A game between Argentina and China. And Argentina have won the match by 2-0. Both goals scored in the first 10 minutes of the game by Agustina Garcia. Spectacular goals they were too. And that was all that Argentina needed to take full points from this game and remain undefeated in Pool A.
Well, Garcia's brilliance in the first 10 minutes was the difference. Argentina were really alive in the first 10 or 15 minutes, and China paid the penalty for a lackluster start. They were better in the second half. Perhaps the second half was shared, but perhaps that was only because Argentina were really content with their 2-0 start. Argentina now very confidently can go towards the semi-finals. For China, there'll be some there'll be some difficult matches ahead if they're going to confirm a position in the top 2.
Yes, a lot of excitement amongst the Argentine players as well. There might be, as Rick has indicated, they're almost certainly through to the semi-finals now, but China left to battle out for the second place in Pool A with Korea and Germany. There's the statistics from the game. The scoreline, 2-0.
9 shots to 4, 3 corners to 4, pretty even there. Circle penetration's fairly even, but the possession is the thing. Argentina really kept the ball, ran China around, and China were unable to get any tempo or pace in the game. Really, their skills and basics let them down. Confident and a consolidating win for Argentina.
Here's the highlights from the game. As I mentioned, the first 2 goals were scored in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Lovely play by Aymar. Passes to Garcia. Quick turn. Terrific shot.
Yes, a pretty convincing win in the end for Argentina, 2-0. Coming up shortly, we'll have the WNBL, but tomorrow, when the hockey resumes here in Perth, it's a sizzler at the top of Pool B between Australia and the Netherlands. Well, the coaches of both teams will be putting together what they hope will be winning strategies. So we've asked our experts, former Hockeyroos coach Rick Charlesworth, we'll give him the Dutch team, and dual Olympic gold medalist Jen Morris, to tell us how they would guide the teams through this crucial match.
One of the real threats for Netherlands tomorrow is our striker line with Julie Towers, Nikki Hudson and Katrina Powell. They prove real scoring opportunities for us. If we can get the ball to them nice and early, not allowing the Netherlands defence to settle, we should score a few goals against them. In terms of our defence, we need to put pressure on the Netherlands midfield, not allow them to receive the ball with lots of time. If we can do that and put lots of pressure on them, Australia should secure the game tomorrow against the Netherlands.
Another promising move here for Australia. The shot on goal is in from Hudson. First goal of the game to Australia. And that was a good strong run down the right. And Hudson left unattended.
We've heard what Jen said she's going to do. If I was the Dutch coach, that's the important area. We're going to defend there with numbers. We'll pay attention to Powell, Hudson and Towers. And when we get the chance, we're going to counter-attack and counter-attack quickly. We only need half a dozen chances, and we'll break, win corners and get shots on goal. That'll be enough for us.
And I found Smarbers, and this must be a goal. It is.
You've heard how we think the coaches of both Netherlands and Australia will approach the game tomorrow. Now, Rick, as an interested spectator, who do you think's going to win?
Well, whoever wins tomorrow is assured a place in the semi-finals. I don't think it'll be high scoring. I'm going from my team, the Netherlands, 2-1.
OK, well, I can't go past Australia. I think it might come down to penalty corners. Boomgart for the Netherlands, but if Lou Dobson can score us a couple, I think Australia are going to do it 3-2.
Should be a great match tomorrow. Well, it was day 7 today. We've seen China and Argentina play an exciting match. Argentina winning 2-0 to stay top of Pool A. Earlier, Ukraine and Russia also met in Pool A, split the points with a 3-all draw. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern Summer Time, the Australia-Netherlands clash. It'll allow one of those teams to assume top position in Pool B. Between them, the Hockeyroos and the Dutch have won 7 times. They're emerging as favourites again. Should be a great clash. Hope you can join us tomorrow. Stand by for the WNBL. I'm Steve Rebellion on behalf of the ABC Sport team. Goodbye for now.